96.5 The Fox, Bismarck, Mandan's classic rock station with free beer, hot wings every weekday morning. Another great show coming to the Prairie Knights Casino. Saturday, June 11th, Kansas will be in town. Tickets are on sale right now. The Prairie Knights Casino box office, prairieknights.com. Star tickets locations as well. Joined on the phone by one of the two original members from Kansas, still with the band, Richard Williams, guitar player. Richard, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Now, 2016 is a very, very big year for Kansas because it's the 40th anniversary of the release of the Leftoverture album. Now, when you wrote and recorded that album, did you think this is it? This is what's going to kind of put us on the map?
Well, you're always hoping. We did have a general consensus that we had something special. This was definitely a better album than anything we had put together before. So we were quite optimistic, but would have never dreamed that 40 years later I would be doing an interview about the tour of the 40th anniversary of it. That was quite unexpected.
Yeah, actually, later this year, you're going to take the album out, play it in its entirety to celebrate the 40th anniversary of it. Why was it important for you as a band to do that?
It makes sense. We've never done anything like that before. We've never had performed any album in its entirety in the sequence, following the original arrangements, etc. It's just something that we've never done, and it just seemed, since that was our breakout album, this was a good time to do it.
And of course, on that album, Carry On Wayward Son, which is still a staple of classic rock radio all over the place. When you wrote that song, when you recorded it, did you think it'd be, there have been years where it's been the most played song at classic rock radio.
Well, of course, we didn't have any idea that it would have the legs that it has had. But we were very confident that we had written a great song. Just in listening back in the studio going, wow, this could be a game changer here for us. We were very proud of it, and we liked it. The record company liked it. But no one could ever have the look into the future and guess that it would still be around this much, 40 years later.
Joined on the phone by Kansas guitarist Richard Williams. They will be at the Prairie Knights Casino Saturday, June 11th. Now, Richard, when you guys set out to record the follow-up to Leftoverture, Point of No Return, were you nervous at all that you might not be able to kind of recapture the magic from the previous album?
Oh, I don't know if nervous is the word, but there's always a pressure to continue the same quality. You're always trying to best your previous effort. So there is that, I think, just a natural incentive to try to do as well as you've done in the past, and really in any endeavor that anyone does in any occupation.
Now, after the huge success of the band that you guys saw in the mid-'70s, late '70s, you kind of drifted apart a little bit in the '80s, only to reform and get back together. What led to the fracturing of the band in the '80s?
People grow. People get married, have families, have change of heart about what they want to do with their lives. They have different convictions. Money changes things. Life comes with changes, period. And so the group of young men coming out of Topeka, we accomplished a lot. But in those accomplishments, we all grew and changed. And people wanted to do other things. For me, the grass was never greener. I've always loved what I do and will continue to do it. Others wanted to do other things, and we've always been very supportive of one another. We're still all good friends, the original six. I'm just not done yet. So I continue to move forward.
And you will be playing at the Prairie Knights Casino in Fort Yates, North Dakota, coming up here in just a few weeks, Saturday, June 11th. And for some folks, this might be the first time that they'll get the chance to see the lead singer, Ronnie Platt, that you brought on just a few years ago. What was it about Ronnie that drew you to him to replace Steve Walsh?
He's good. I saw him. He was singing with a band called Shooting Star out of the Kansas City area. We were playing at Moondance Jam in Minnesota about 8 years ago, and they were on the bill with us. It was a several-day event, and I just wandered over to the stage to see how the Shooting Star guys were doing, and I saw Ronnie perform, and I was blown away. And we would just, through Facebook and stuff, we remained in casual contact. And when Steve told us that he was going to move on, he was, I just thought, okay, who was that guy I saw? It's Ronnie. Okay, so we got in contact with Ronnie. Shortly after we hired him. He's a great performer, fantastic singer, and what was really important it was not just, somebody that was good enough, but we had to find somebody that we could get along with. So really most of our meeting with Ronnie was just find out what kind of guy he was. We'll probably wind up doing 100 shows this year, and there's travel days in between. That's half the year we're all together 24 hours a day. It's important, probably more important than anything. In making music, do it with people that you get along with. It sounds better. It's more fun. This has to be fun or I'll stop doing it. And so Phil and I cultivate that. This has to be painless. It has to be enjoyable. It has to be fun. We all have to be on the same page and want to be here and want to do it. And Ronnie is all of those things and more.
Joined on the phone by Richard Williams, guitar player for Kansas. They will be at Prairie Knights Casino Saturday, June 11th. One way that Ronnie has kind of reinvigorated the band is he's got you back into the studio, or helped you get back into the studio, and you're ready to release a new album for the first time in 16 years, the Prelude Implicit. Why did you decide now that this was the time to do it? Well,
it's 16 years since doing the last album. There's a lot of pent-up lack of creativity. That's something we've been held down and not done for quite a while. So now that we're firing on all pistons, all cylinders, this was what we want to do, is to, again, be creative. And so we were, and it's a great album. And we can't wait for it to come out. It'll be out in September. Kansas fans are going to love it. It is a Kansas record. We're trying to be as true to ourselves as we have ever been. Not trying to jump on any new bandwagon or be anything else than ourselves. And we have succeeded in doing that with this record. For all the Kansas fans are going to love this.
And we should mention that Ronnie isn't the only relatively new member of Kansas, because you just welcomed the man who produced the new album, Zach, into the fold as well. What led to the decision to make Zach a full-time guitarist?
Well, Zach, we've worked with a lot over the last couple decades as an engineer on other studio projects we have done. He's a top-notch engineer. He's a fantastic guitar player that was in a band called Forefront, very progressive band. He's a very creative guy. As we got working in the studio, Phil, Zach, and I were producing this, and we started tapping his creative talent, and we had no idea the depth of it. And at that point, Phil and I looked at each other and just said, because we're not on the seniors tour where we're going to make one album and then bow out gracefully. This is a new band with a new drive and a new incentive to bring new Kansas music into the future. And we're looking down the road at several more records. And Zach is such a talented guy. To ensure that we continue doing this, we need to bring him on board. We worked as a team so well that we had to. And it's great to have him on board. He's a very, very talented writer. And so that's why we brought him in.
How has the songwriting and recording process for Kansas changed over the last 40 years? I mean, you guys have been at this for 4 decades now, and you're getting ready to put out a new album. How has things changed?
Technology changes a bit, but it's kind of like driving a car. I mean, you drove a Model T down the road, you had a brake, gas pedal, steering wheel, and you moved. It's the actual creating of music and the practicing, rehearsing, changing things about, that's all kind of the same. Just the devices in which you record it with are different. Some of them, really most of it, makes it a lot easier and more fun experience. Some of it makes it a little bit cold and clinical if you allow it. But it's not that much change. Music is that. It is music. It takes musicians to play it, at least from our perspective. So it really isn't all that different.
Now, you mentioned before, adding Ronnie to the band a couple of years ago has really kept Kansas out on the road more than ever. Last year, you played nearly 100 shows. This year, you're already scheduled to play more than 100 shows, including the upcoming stop at Prairie Knights Casino. Do you still have the same excitement when you get on stage every night?
I do. This is my chosen profession. This was a hobby that turned into a pleasant job that is now my career and my lifetime. I do this because it is the love of my life. This is what I do. I recommend it for anybody if this is what you like to do. I have worked with people that didn't enjoy it, and it's a miserable life if you can't make peace with the travel and the work and the ups and downs of it all, because it is a roller coaster ride all the time. But life is that way anyway. Why would it be any different being in a band? For me, this is perfection in motion. For other people, this would be a living hell. To each his own.
How would you compare an early Kansas show, say 40 years ago, to what you guys do now?
Well, we're older, we're wiser. I'm a much better guitar player than I was 40 years ago. It's not like being a quarterback where when, a couple of injuries and you're 25 and your career is over. It's a pretty low contact sport here. And we've learned along the way how to do things better. You achieve a higher level of skill. Doing this for 43 years now, just by the simple act of doing it, a lot of wisdom comes along the way that did not have in my 20s.
Joined on the phone by Richard Williams, guitar player for Kansas. They will be at the Prairie Knights Casino Saturday, June 11th. Tickets are on sale right now. And Richard, as people get ready for the show, what can they expect when they make it out to PKC on Saturday, June 11th from Kansas?
It's a good band. You're going to see a bunch of guys that are dedicated to what they do. This lineup we've played 130, 140 shows together in the last little over a year. It's a tight band. It's not an act. We're not up here going through the motions. You're going to see a live band doing what a live band loves to do, which is perform. It's real. There's nothing fake about what we do. We are a blue-collar working band that just loves to do what we do.
Kansas will perform at the Prairie Knights Casino Saturday, June 11th. Tickets on sale right now. Make sure you get yours and keep it on 96.5 The Fox. We'll have your chance to win some as well. Richard, I'm looking forward to the show. It's going to be an awesome concert at Prairie Knights Casino inside the pavilion. We will see you here on June 11th.
I'll be there, I promise.